Hello everyone and welcome to the Starladder Starseries Season 5 first game of Day 3. We're going to have Fnatic.eu going up against rox.KIS. We're going to have Rox on the Radiant side. They're going to have second pick this game, it appears, with Fnatic on the Dire taking up the first pick. Fnatic are going to ban out the Magnus with their first pick, just choosing to take out the powerful team fight here. A pretty standard ban or early pick nowadays. Rox immediately respond with the Keeper of the Light ban. Just another hero that we pretty much been seeing get banned out more and more often lately as teams realize that no one wants to really lane against Keeper of the Light. Really just a hassle in lane with the Chakra Magic, the Illuminate spam, anyone you pair with him, especially the Phantom Lancer, who we've been seeing more and more often lately, you just don't want to deal with, so they're going to choose to take him out. And then Fnatic, for their second and last ban of this first banning phase, going to choose to take out the Wisp. And the final ban, coming out from Rox, that's going to be the Batrider. So another hero that we see pretty much getting banned out every game, Batrider. We've seen his ability to turn the tide of games, pulling heroes out of position, making sure teamfights go in the favor of a team. Fnatic then going to take their first pick, and they choose to take the Nyx Assassin, who makes it through that first banning phase. So Nyx Assassin, pretty much the premier support in the metagame at the moment, with his ability to do just high burst damage, as well as survive any sort of burst coming at him through Spiked Carapace. Doesn't really need the levels or farm to do a lot of damage. Once he gets 6, can start ganking, picking off supports with that Vendetta. So they're going to choose to take him, and Rox immediately respond with the Darkseer and Lifestealer picks. So Darkseer, pretty much a powerful hero because of his versatility and teamfight presence in the game. He can lane in a variety of different ways, doesn't really give much up in terms of the draft. You can put him in an off lane and he'll survive. You can put him in the mid lane, he might even get a bunch of farm and beat a hero there. And he can even jungle if it comes down to it, and he ends up against a hero or a lane that you really can't deal with very easily. And Lifestealer, pretty much the most highly valued carry at the moment, just because of the recent buffs to Rage. Really difficult to deal with. You basically need to have a skill on one of your heroes that can go through BKB type effect, just to try and control him in fights. And that's why we're going to see Fnatic here pick up the Bane Elemental, either as a support or maybe a solo laner. We typically see him in the pro scene as a support hero, and he's pretty good here as that. Once he hits 6, he will get that Fiend's Grip. He's going to be able to use that to hold the Lifestealer in fights, even if he's raged up, and that will allow him to get focused down a little bit more easily, or at least prevent him from dealing a ton of physical damage to his teammates. And Fnatic's last pick of that first picking phase is going to be the Nature's Prophet. So hero that's sort of coming back into the scene. He was very popular about a year ago, pretty much being first pick, first ban. Now it really fell out of favor because he's a little bit more, I guess, defensive. Requires quite a bit of farm to really get going, and the global pushing strategies have kind of fallen out of favor with the... There was a time when we were kind of in the 4 protects 1 stage of the game where everyone was just picking a really hard carry and seeing who could outfarm the other. And but we're going to see him back in this game. We'll see how he lanes. Typically we're seeing him in sort of an off lane or a mid solo role nowadays. Not so much time spent in the jungle. And we'll see if Fnatic go with that off lane Nature's Prophet. He is pretty okay in that lane. He can summon those treants. They can try and farm and last hit for him. He has that teleport to gank globally. If he gets his ultimate, very powerful nuke on the map.
Radiant team ban.
And the last pick coming out from Rox in this first picking phase is going to be Chen. So Chen, another hero that we don't really see as much as we used to. Pretty much a very defensive jungler. His abilities are great on defense, with that global heal in the form of the Hand of God, really helping your team in team fights try and survive and maybe put out a little bit more damage and turn the tide of a team fight. We also have the ability I can never remember, the Test of Faith. Since they moved it. Test of Faith, allowing you to send one of your teammates back to the base in the middle of a team fight. If they're about to die, save them, get them back to the fountain, get your carry or someone else out of the fight. So they're going to choose to pick up that Chen. We will almost certainly see him in the jungle this game. Going into the second banning phase, Fnatic going to choose to take out the Templar Assassin, so a hero that we don't see too often anymore after some recent nerfs to Refraction. They're going to choose to take the Templar Assassin out because they don't want to deal with a really powerful mid-hero, I think, here. They don't necessarily have a mid-hero of their own selected on Fnatic yet. It's certainly possible we could see Nyx Assassin or Bane end up in that capacity, and neither is particularly great against Templar Assassin. Nyx, in particular, is going to have to be right up on the creep wave, and that leaves Templar Assassin lots of room to be able to do the harass. And they're also going to choose to ban out the Silencer, so we've seen the power of Silencer in the games in the last few days since he hit the tournament mode. And with that global silence, he can really turn the tide of a team fight, giving multiple seconds where the enemy team can't cast spells, really can just give your team the opportunity to take out a couple heroes and make sure that you're at an advantage in any fight. It's also been played in a variety of roles, so it kind of hits Rox in a couple senses that way. And Rock's going to ban out Tinker as well as the Gyrocopter here. Tinker, a pretty powerful hero in his own right, can lane in the mid lane and do pretty decently. I think most of the time we see him in the competitive scene nowadays. We see him kind of stacking in the Ancients, trying to get some Ancients up and then farming those with a Soul Ring, as well as the March of the Machine spam. Allows him to get a lot of farm in a way where he's not really threatened, he's not on the map being contested, and if someone on the enemy team is really trying to stop his Ancients farm by warding or coming over there and trying to disrupt it repeatedly, he's taking another hero out of the game pretty efficiently. And Gyrocopter getting taken out as a hero that kind of gets played, I believe, by Fnatic as a support hero, but sometimes it gets played in a variety of roles in the competitive scene. Whether it's mid, solo, he's also played support in a tri-lane, sometimes even the carry farmer in a tri-lane. And we can see him all over the place on the map. With his abilities in teamfights, do great amount of damage very quickly early on with the Rocket Barrage. The call down AoE damage is fantastic in the mid game. And then late game with Flat Cannon, able to just do tons of physical damage and a huge AoE, 1000 from his point to all units. Last ban now coming out from Fnatic, going to be the Queen of Pain. They used a lot of their reserve time thinking about what they wanted to ban out here. They do choose to go with another mid-hero. And very quickly Rox bans out Weaver. So an off-lane hero kind of makes sense with Fnatic's current lineup if you assume Nyx Assassin and Bane are going to be supports and Nature's Prophet ends up mid. But Fnatic very quickly after the banning phase decided to pick up the Storm Spirit. So Storm Spirit, a hero we don't see too often in the competitive scene nowadays, but one of my favorite heroes personally. With his, once he gets level 6 and has his ultimate, if he has a sufficient mana pool, his initiation range is basically infinite. As long as he has mana, he can keep ball lightning at people, and you can't get away. Gets in range, has a stun, an AoE passive that makes all of his attacks have a little bit of a slow and do some bonus damage after he casts a spell. And also his little point-blank AoE static remnant, just a little nuke bomb that he could drop and triggers his passive. So we'll see how Storm Spirit ends up getting laned in this game. You would kind of expect him to try and be a farmer. Sometimes you do see Storm Spirit in the mid lane. He's a little vulnerable there, but Rox don't really have a very powerful mid laner at the moment to really contest Storm Spirit, so he might be okay there. Rock's going to pick up Alchemist for their 4th pick, so not something I was really expecting to see here. They do have Alchemist and Lifestealer now, the Nakes, on the same team. And both of those heroes pretty much take a lot of farm to really come online. So we'll see how they end up laning the Alchemist with the Lifestealer. If maybe Alchemist just ends up jungling with the Acid Spray. Fnatic's last pickup going to be Enchantress, so they're going to take that jungler up. With that, their lanes are kind of confusing, I think. At least from my perspective. Maybe someone else is really seeing this a little bit more effectively than I am, but I would kind of expect to see Nature's Prophet and Nyx soloing, with the Bane supporting the Storm Spirit, and the Enchantress in the jungle. It's certainly possible they could lane in different ways. Bane could also solo instead of the Nyx Assassin.
10 seconds remaining.
But I'm really interested to see how Fnatic and Rox are going to try and lane these heroes, especially Rox with these effectively double carries. Both require a ton of farm, and we're going to see Venomancer as the last pick from Rox. So another hero that we haven't seen too much, maybe coming back into the meta. I've seen him a couple times in the last few days. Venomancer is just a really powerful support at the beginning of the game. Does great damage with all of the magic DPS he can put out. Just dots on everybody. Has that slow in the form of Venomous Gale. And Venomous Gale just such a crippling slow at level 1. 50% move speed slow. It really sets up anything from your team to try and take out a hero very quickly. So we're going to get to see the Era Storm. And Hani is on the Nyx Assassin, so we probably will see him in the mid lane. And waiting for the last tier players to pick up their heroes now. Here they go. I'm going to change my announcers. People don't complain. And we'll quickly go over who's playing what hero here. For Fnatic, on the dire side, we have Fly taking up the Bane Elemental, Era on the Storm Spirit, and No Tail on the Enchantress. That leaves Hani heading towards that mid lane on the Nyx Assassin, and finally Trixie. He's going to be heading off lane on the Nature's Prophet. In the meantime, all of Rox heading towards the bottom lane. We have Hardiv on the Venomancer, Yol taking up the Chen, Starladder on the Alchemist, Buzz is Perfect on the Nags, and Sidoi on the Darkseer. All of Rox are defending their bottom lane right now, making sure they defend their pool. And it doesn't look like Fnatic is in any mood to try and contest. They're running a defensive tri-lane of their own. So we'll see who gets the best of the farm here. I'm still not sure how Rox are gonna lane these heroes. They do have everyone at the bottom. You gotta expect Chen to be in the jungle, which will probably leave Darkseer heading towards the top lane. And do we end up with like an Alchemist solo mid?
The battle begins.
And Alchemist wandering around, looks like he's getting ready to block, so we might be seeing a solo mid Alchemist. And that does leave this tri-lane of Venomancer and Nyx with the defensive jungler in the form of Chen, and Darkseer to the off lane. So the Alchemist solo mid will work out pretty decently because he's going up against the Nyx Assassin. Alchemist manages to stun himself in this middle lane, at least to start. Not sure if he was trying to go for a little bit of a quick stun on the Nyx Assassin Hani in this middle lane. No one else around, so maybe just going for some harass. Fly is invisible. Coming in here for the gank on Alchemist. He's got a lot of health. Oh, Enchantress is here as well. See if they'll be able to get in range to get that Centaur stun up. It doesn't look like they will, but they will be able to go into this tower. Enchantress taking a lot of damage from this tower, and she's going to go down.
Who would harm me?
So First Blood going to the Radiant.
We're here to say no.
So a little bit of over-aggression there coming from the Enchantress. Not sure why he just decided to take all that damage. Hani taking a ton of damage from the tower as well now, standing in the acid spray, getting the armor reduction, and then taking like 2 or 3 hits from the tower. So Fnatic having a lot of trouble with the tower aggro thus far in this middle lane. So it looks like most of the action in this game is probably going to be occurring around that middle lane, at least for the time being. It's the really only even lane they're going to have in terms of farm. Hani on the Nyx Assassin, as well as a Starladder on this Alchemist, can contest farm from each other. They're both melee heroes. They're both solo in this middle lane. The opposing 2 lanes are both just tri-lanes against a solo. Actually, with Nature's Prophet heading into the jungle on the side of Fnatic, knows he can't really deal with.
Come.
And my mouse died a little bit there. Knows he can't really deal with the tri-lane coming out from Rox in this bottom lane. And it looks like Hani's gonna be in trouble here. take a bunch of damage. Here comes the teleport from Nature's Prophet. Maybe try to save him and then cancels the TP. Then comes back in, but not until Hani dies. So Trixie hesitating a little bit there, and I think he could have saved Hani. But Nyx Assassin will go down in the middle lane. With a little bit of an awkward play coming up from Trixie. Now he's sitting in this middle lane. He'll at least be able to get some of the farm here, so the experience isn't going to waste until Nyx Assassin returns. But I really feel like he could have saved Hani there. Alchemist already up to level 4, so this lane looking pretty good. It's first blood going the way of Chen. As a result of that king in the middle lane. Hani returns now. That's going to let Trixie rotate back into the jungle and give Hani his solo lane back, try and get some experience.
Pull roots and run.
So Hani getting out leveled here by the Alchemist. Still no levels in Goblin's Greed picked up on Alchemist. In Dota 2, First Blood Gold does not go to just the Radiant or Dire. It'll go to the first hero after that. Looks like Fnatic are heading up for some sort of gank in this middle lane again. They have an Ursa Warrior, or Hellbear Smasher, as he's apparently been renamed to. Which this name is way more fearsome. They want to go on Alchemist, but Alchemist is checking room bottom, it looks like. That rune is going to spawn top. It's a regen, and that's going to let Hani get it, refill his bottle, grab a regen rune. He's going to spam abilities now. But this smoke is going to wear off now from Fly. And it looks like No-Tail had even given up well before that, headed back to the jungle, realizing the Alchemist isn't there and they're not going to be able to do anything. Try and gank. And maybe attempt to equalize this middle lane. Chen, coming out of the jungle, manages to push with the wards of Venomancer. This bottom lane, they're already going for a tier 2. And it doesn't look like Fnatic's really in any position to try and defend.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Lifesteal getting pretty decent farm. Already has 700 gold as well as his treads. So Rox really taking the advantage here. They're going to be able to take this tower, and Fnatic is not in any position whatsoever to even rotate down here. And let's see who gets that last hit. Venomancer actually gets both of those tower last hits. So that's going to be a ton of gold on him. He'll be able to get mana boots if he wants. It looks like Alchemist is trying to get away from Hani and the rest of the Fnatic in the form of Fly and No-Tail. Here comes that stun. And the kill going to go the way of Hani. So they do get a revenge kill now on Alchemist, but they do lose 2 towers in the meantime. So Hani getting a little bit of farm and experience there after that kill on the Alchemist. He'll have a free lane for the moment. Let's see how Storm Spirit's doing in this top lane. He's farming pretty okay. He's up to 1200 gold. It does leave him a little bit behind the Nyx. Of course, the Nyx does have 2 towers. Nyx is at 2 levels behind the Storm Spirit, though, because Era's basically had a free lane. His supports haven't been here, hanging out, trying to push with him. So he's been able to get lots of solo XP. Nyx finds a double damage rune in the top lane.
Is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And the game goes back to a little bit of farming now after this bouts of aggression. It looks like the supports from Rox are rotating into the middle lane. Might try and go for this tier 1 here after a gank on Hani. It's going to be pretty difficult to gank him, for the moment at least. Hani drops an Iron Branch, gets some wards off the Courier. Courier continues to hang out. There he goes, heading back to base. And Hani now gonna go in ward. Drops a lane ward, I believe, before he leaves. Does in fact, right there. And during this moment, let's take a quick look at these experience of gold graphs. See how it's going. It's about 1,000 in favor in terms of experience from Fnatic. Even though Rox is leading on the kills, their lanes are basically just a lot more solo experience going on. They are giving up the entire bottom lane, but they do have more heroes actually farming than Rox at the moment. Gold is favoring Rox, on the other hand, at about 2k. And that's going to be mostly from the first blend towers. So a pretty close game, by all comparison. They do... if this lane ever gets pushed out now by the Lifestealer, Trixie on his Nature's Prophet will be able to easily farm. He'll be well into his territory before he actually has to defend a tower, all the way back at this tier 3. So letting those 2 towers go down, especially in the offlane, is not too scary at the moment. Honey pops a double damage rune and the Vendetta. Looks like he might be trying to go for a kill on the Nakes. In the meantime, there's a fight coming in this top lane. And it looks like Fly is going to go down with the Unstable Concoction from the Alchemist, as well as the Acid Spray. No-Tail trying to save him and going to take a lot of damage and go down as well. So 2 kills going the way of Rox in this top lane with the 5 hero support. And with that, Rox set up to push this tier 1 top now. Trying to wrest a little bit of control of the jungle away from Fnatic. And this tower going to go down very quickly. Fnatic content to just let it go, it looks like. They're going to try and take this tier 1 in the mid lane, or at least deal some good damage in the meantime. They're not going to be able to get it in time. The tower top already going down. Glyph just used by Rox in the middle lane. It's down to it's lost about a quarter of its HP. And Fnatic continuing to farm, but it does look like Rox are going to try and go for this. See if Starladder can reach it, and he's not going to be able to. Stuns himself up on the cliff. Venomous Gale coming out from the Venomancer, and with that initiation range on Storm Spirit, going to lead to that kill. The tower goes down. Nature's Prophet getting that last hit. So Starladder looking a little silly, trying to do something a little spicy up on this cliff, trying to throw a Unstable Concoction down on that Storm Spirit. But he does get taken down. Or he does stun himself with the Storm Spirit moving just a little out of range. Looks a little foolish. Unfortunately, Fnatic didn't get to see that. So we'll just have to talk about it amongst ourselves. And Rock's going to continue to farm, it looks like. They have a lot of their heroes sitting in this middle lane right now. The only one not really is Darkseer, who's farming the jungle. He's up to level 7, doesn't really have too much, up to 1200 gold. He'll be able to buy mana boots if that's what he wants to go for here. He does have his soul ring already finished. And it looks like he's heading to the side shop. Maybe not, just pushing out this bottom lane a little bit. Enchantress shows up. Darkseer can't really know that it's solo Enchantress, or wouldn't be too threatened by that. And Alchemist looks like he's setting up for a gank on Honey in this middle lane. He's got that stun coming out from the Unstable Concoction. This time, however, the Spike Carapace is saved, and that's going to let Honey get away completely, basically almost completely unscathed. Loses only about a quarter of his health, and the enemy team actually loses that much. However, they do have a mech finish probably on the Chen, so they're all back to full. And the Nakes porting to the top lane. Content to let his team continue to pressure this tier 1 mid, and he can just head to an offlane farm. See what he can get. He has to be a little careful though. Fly is here, along with Storm Spirit. Looks like Fly wants to go for the sleep, isn't going to be able to get it. Just running at him obviously, but Fnatic now in a position to try and take this tier 1 in the top lane. However, we do have heroes from Rox heading towards this top lane to defend. Alchemist pops the Chemical Rage. See if he uses another Unstable Concoction and maybe blows it up on himself. Or gets it off on a hero this time. It looks like Fnatic were just content to back off. Show a little force, deal some damage to this tier 1. If nobody rotated, they take it. People did rotate. Happy to just back off. Infest from the Nakes inside the Alchemist. Alchemist uses Unstable Concoction and stuns himself in the middle of a creep wave. Fortunately, Era didn't decide to get aggressive there and go in. Could have been a trap. And that Nakes would have popped out. Storm Spirit likely to get away, had enough mana to just ball lightning out. Era continuing to get farmed. Looks like he's rushing Orchid. Has an Oblivion Staff done. As long as a Ring of Basilius and some power charts. A little bit of damage coming out in this tier 1 on the Dire side. being pressured by the Venomancer and the Chen. Doing a real good AoE. As well as spamming these wards. How's Venomancer doing? He's got level 3 in the wards now. Only level 5, so he doesn't have that ultimate yet. Chen is level 7, so he'll have the Hand of God if it comes up. And that tier 1 goes down in the top lane from Fnatic, while these heroes from rox are trying to rotate around, get some, do a little bit of damage, and maybe take this tier 1 in the mid lane. And all the heroes from rox now, except for Darkseer, who is on his way, are staying in this middle lane, and looks like this tower's going to go down. You do use the glyph just to buy a little time so that Fnatic can continue pressuring this tier 2 in the top lane. And the tier 1 will go down mid, Lifestealer getting that last hit, so good last hitting from him. However, this tier 2 in the top lane does go down to about a quarter HP. More like a fifth. Not sure if Fnatic want to go on this. Maybe just backing off a little bit, seeing who shows up, and then heading in. Era trying to ball lightning in, but Darkseer happens to be backing off at that moment.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
This is more in an eighth. Fnatic continuing to farm. And Era doing pretty okay, getting closer and closer to that Orchid. Not too far off anymore, just about the cost of the recipe. So about 800 gold away. Not really sure why he's rushing Orchid. I guess it's pretty good against Alchemist. Just in case he's ever not just stunning himself, you can make him stun himself. Chen and Venomancer also pretty decent targets. If Chen can't heal in the middle of a fight and you pick him off, it's pretty good. And his initiation range is going to let him get in there. Try and deal a bunch of damage. Looks like a Shadow Blade going to be coming out from the Nature's Prophet. He's got the Claymore up.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Uproot and after them.
Blink Dagger picked up on Alchemist. Pretty surprising build. He still doesn't have any points in greed, and picks up a Blink Dagger, but he does have the Nakes in him. Fortunately, there is a lane ward here that's going to spot him out, as well as the Venomancer. The Chen is smoked up, but all of Fnatic is already running away. Realize something is probably amiss. Alchemist's going to port to this bottom lane, bringing the Nakes bomb with him. And he's just going to wander out. Looks like maybe he's going to try and go for a kill on Trixie. Trixie does have to be careful here. He will go down. Doesn't have a lot of mana. Here comes the stun. Out from Starladder. He's going to blink and use it. Here comes the Nakes, and Trixie going to get picked off very quickly there. So kill going the way of Lifestealer. Quick and easy kill going the way of rox in that bottom lane. Fortunately, Trixie did not quite have that Shadow Blade picked up. He's about 800 gold away. Honey's got a Force Staff as well as Boots of Travel picked up on the Nyx Assassin now. So with these Boots of Travel on the Nyx, they're going to be able to split push pretty hard between the global presence provided by the Nyx Assassin and the Nature's Prophet.
Illusion.
We'll see when they start trying to split push if they can kind of wrest control the game away a little bit harder. And start being able to exert pressure on multiple points of the map at the same time. Still have all their tier 2s up on the side of rox, and 2 of the tier 2s up from Fnatic. So not too much going on yet. Trixie heading back to this top lane again, and he's going to get Nakes bombed again. Unfortunately, Nakes is a little bit out of range on the Infest burst out. Honey ports in. Gonna use the mana burn on Nakes. Nakes can't rage anymore, doesn't have any mana, and now Trixie trying to use the treants to block as long as possible. Oh, Alchemist getting put to sleep by the Bane. And Nakes gonna go down very quickly there. With the 4-hero rotation coming on the way of Fnatic.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Alchemist, once again, not getting a lot done in these fights. It looks like Era gonna be able to get out, just barely. Gets the kill on Storm Spirit and the tower. Gonna try and port out if he gets caught. Oh, it does get caught by the Blink Dagger from the Alchemist.
That was genius.
So Storm Spirit trying to split push a little bit, manages to get that tower and the kill. Unfortunately, because Alchemist kind of got forced out of this top lane, ported back to base, was able to get into initiation range just in time to pick off the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit choosing to try and teleport out there, had the Venomancer dots on him. Had the Venomancer dots on him, as well as was low on mana, just enough to teleport, so he wasn't going to be able to ball lightning to try and get a little bit further. I don't know, I didn't notice if he had any of the extra Venomancer dots on him that could actually kill him. It seems likely that he did.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And Fnatic now heading around, trying to farm anywhere they can. Take a quick look at these experience and gold graphs again. Experience 3k in favor of Fnatic. Gold now also about 3k. Heading Fnatic's way. See that Nyx is currently the top farm. He's been getting a pretty decent amount of pickoffs. He's got a Desolator recipe as well as one of the Warhammers, Mithril Hammers picked up. So he's about 600 gold away from having that Desolator. Has a gem that was bought by Yol. And Fly gonna get caught out here in the river. Nothing he can do. Goes down instantly. Fortunately, he's not gonna be too upset about that. He was a support hero. Gets picked off. Catches out a smoke. And saves some of his teammates. Sounds a little bad for Fly, but in the end, not too much comes of it. Rock's going to head for Roshan now, though. And with this Acid Spray, he's going to lose all of his armor and then some. Should go down pretty quickly from the physical damage coming out from Alchemist, as well as Nyx. Venomancer are going to port back to the middle lane, try and defend just the creep wave push that's come out here. Lifestealer gets a free Aegis. And a free Roshan going the way of Rox. So Fnatic continuing to just kind of ignore things that are happening on the map. Venomancer are pointing to that middle lane and miss a kill. Hani, with the double damage and the Vendetta, just picks him off. Looks like they're considering chasing him. Don't think they should, and they're going to hesitate a little bit, waiting for the Alchemist to get a little bit closer. Hani gonna Force Staff, uses the Spiked Carapace to try and dodge the Nyx, but he does get caught by the Unstable Concoction. And with that, gonna be an easy pickoff. Alchemist dominating now.
Looking for me?
Perseverance now picked up from Storm Spirit, so we're probably seeing him go for a Lincoln's. Quite a bit of spells that's going to dodge, and Storm Spirit might be able to get a kill on this Nyx, take the Aegis. Fortunately, does not quite do enough damage. He's out of mana now. Nyx, if he had a little bit more mana, would be able to use the open wounds and get that kill. Fortunately, does not have the mana. Alchemist stunning himself again. So, good plays there from Starladder, trying to get in range to maybe catch the Storm Spirit. Unfortunately, Storm Spirit has already given up and fled well before Starladder got close. So he stuns himself, wastes a little bit of mana health, not a big deal. Looks like Chen gonna get caught out in the middle of the Radiant jungle. No Tail taking the Nightmare on himself. Not even sure why Nightmare was really used there. All the heroes that were gonna get close were, or at least necessary for the kill, were already there. They didn't really need the help of the Nyx Assassin with the Nature's Prophet porting in. And Fnatic just content to farm, it looks like. In this bottom lane, they do have a lot of heroes down here. Could try and go for this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. Try and pull a little bit more Wrath control away from Rox. Try and push them out of their jungle. And Storm Spirit going down the top lane in the meantime. Looks like he was probably caught out by that Alchemist Nyx bomb.
and run.
And a lot of ports now coming out from rox, trying to defend this tower. Fnatic gonna be forced back, don't have anything here. And rox going to just push them all the way back. No one in range to really go in, I don't think. Surge coming out from the lifestealer. All he's gonna find is Trixie, who's already ported out. So all the heroes from Fnatic gonna escape relatively unscathed. They do lose their Storm Spirit in the top lane in the meantime, though. So pretty unfortunate there for Fnatic. Era not having a great game. Honey, looks like he was buying a Void Stone from the secret shop. Not sure what he wants to build with that. It's possible he could end up going for a sheep stick. It's usually kind of strange to buy the Void Stone first. And Fly getting picked off in this middle lane by the Blink from Alchemist. Blink Alchemist just really showing his initiation ability with that unstable concoction, getting into range to be able to try and hit those on the enemy heroes and a little bit less on himself. It's really working out thus far pretty well for rox. And they're going to take this tier 2 tower down in the middle lane, completely uncontested. Fnatic really haven't been contesting too much this game, just been content to let rox go for the towers, go for the Roshan. They've been trying to. And Nake's now infested back in the Alchemist, so we'll see if they try and go for another Nake's bomb on someone. If rox is able to get another big pick off here, they might be able to go high ground. They do still have that Aegis, I believe, on the lifestealer. They do, in fact. So with that, they should be able to force a fight here. Try and take Rax early. It's also possible they might just back off and be content to farm, but with lifestealer infesting into the Alchemist again, you got to assume that they're probably going to just be trying to force a fight. But Starladder is walking away from Fnatic's side of the map, with Nyx still inside him. He has a Ghost Scepter picked up now. Pretty surprising to see him pick up the Ghost Scepter. There aren't a ton of heroes doing a lot of physical damage on the side of Fnatic at the moment. With that gem on the Nyx, Trixie gonna get caught out. No Shadowblade gonna save him. Trying to teleport out, gonna get last hit by the Alchemist. Hani there, trying to throw a stun off to help. Gonna be forced to use Vendetta. If he gets spotted though, Lifestealer does still have that gem. But Hani very quick with Vendetta and those Boots of Travel, should be able to get out. Nature's Prophet getting a kill on Venomancer in the top lane in the meantime. Venomancer just a little too far out after that spawn.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And Fnatic now pressuring this tier 1 middle in the meantime with the 3 heroes. Not really involved in those fights. rox not really getting too much done. Another Ghost Scepter picked up, this time on Chen. Take a quick look at the scoreboard. And, open up those items. See what everyone's got. What's going on here. So, not a lot coming out on Fnatic at the moment. No-Tail does have a Force Staff picked up now on the Enchantress. It looks like a Yule's is actually what's coming out from Hani there for just that extra move speed. So that must be why he wanted those Boots of Travel. They're the boots that give the most move speed. And the Vendetta, so he's going to be going real fast this game. So he's getting real close to that Yule's. Pretty surprising to see him going for that. Maybe he thinks he'll be able to dodge some of the attacks that are coming out from rox, like the Lifestealer during his rage, or the Alchemist when he blinks in on him. Just to be able to Yule's up and dodge like an unstable concoction is pretty good. Starladder now smoked up with Nyx inside again. Thinks about heading into the dire jungle and then decides against it. Now he's heading towards the Ancients. He's going to spot out those Treants from Trixie, but no Trixie around. So Alchemist just kind of running around, doesn't find anybody out. And if he heads back out now, he's going to get spotted by this ward. Meantime, he's just waiting near this bottom lane. Sees that Chen has 3 Satyrs here. Nuking down Creep Wave, someone's going to have to respond. Unfortunately, the Creep Wave is going to get pushed pretty close to the tower. He's not going to want to get too close, just because of the likelihood that there will be multiple heroes there. Does spot out Trixie though. It looks like he's going for it. Gonna blink in. There comes the Nake's bomb, and Trixie gonna get picked off again. Alchemist getting that last hit with his cloud.
Distilled to your essence.
And Fnatic now continuing to farm on like Enchantress and
Bottom tower is under attack.
a couple other strange heroes. What's Bane got going for him? Still nothing really picked up. And Rox now got a couple heroes in this bottom lane. Looks like they're going to do some pressure on this tier 3 tower in the bottom. See if they can do some damage here. There's no one from Fnatic even really that close. Fly is sitting there. Alchemist porting back to his base. Starts charging that unstable concoction right away. That's going to lead to a kill on Hani and Era with the Infest coming out from the Lifestealer. Chen gets a kill actually on the Lifestealer with the Test of Faith. So 2 heroes from Fnatic just getting picked off here. And Rox continuing to just defend everywhere.
There's no shame.
Enchantress gets a kill on the Darkseer with the help of Fly and Trixie. Doesn't look like Fiend's Grip was used for that. Fnatic though having a lot of trouble this game. It seems like they're not really making a lot of headway into taking the game away from Rox, even with the experience and gold lead. It just kind of feels like they're behind. The Nakes is very farmed. The only hero really farmed on the side of Fnatic is the Storm Spirit, and to some extent the Nature's Prophet, but neither of those heroes is really great at contesting the Lifestealer in terms of carry power, at least for the moment. Lifestealer does a lot of damage, and with that built-in magic immunity, it's hard to deal with, especially since Fly doesn't seem like he's really been in fights against this Lifestealer to try and Fiend's Grip him. Storm does have his Lincolns held up or purchased now. That's going to help him be a little bit difficult to gank now, just because the unstable concoction that they've kind of been relying on to try and pick him off isn't going to be as effective against him. It looks like they're going to Boots of Travel on the Alchemist into the Roche pit with that Satyr. Nake's still inside. They're going to take him out. And this Roshan kill going to go completely uncontested. Fnatic probably have no idea that they're there. They just saw the Alchemist in the top lane. Can't expect them to be Boots of Traveling into the Roche pit. But it's going to be another free Roche going the way of Rox. Lifestealer gets another Aegis. And immediately ports back. Wants to be able to defend this tier 3 tower in the top lane. Fnatic is somewhat setting up for it again. They have their 2 heroes that are best at split pushing here with their global teleports. But not going to really be able to contest it with all of Rox's team in the area, except for the Darkseer. This Darkseer pick doesn't feel like it's really been working out too well this game. There haven't been a lot of team fights. And as a result, he hasn't been able to use his abilities too much good. Alchemist picks up a Shadow Blade now. This is a quite strange Alchemist build. Went for Blink Dagger to Ghost Scepter, Boots of Travel, and then Shadow Blade. He is holding the gem now. Looks like Nakes has a Basher finally picked up, as well as his Aegis, Armlet, and Desolator, so he's doing quite a bit of damage. He has that Basher to try and deal a little bit more and bash people so they can't get away from him. Not that it's been too much of an issue as of yet, simply because most of his kills have been coming the way of the Alchemist Blink and the Infest Bomb. Rox now have multiple heroes heading towards this bottom lane. Fnatic is in the right Radiant jungle, so they could catch them out if they try and go for it, but it looks like Alchemist is kind of just wandering around not getting anything done again. And Starladder continuing to wander around with Nakes in him. Nakes is missing out on a lot of farm this game just by being infested inside of the Alchemist. I understand that they want to go for kills, but they haven't really been taking too much after getting the kills. They're going to spot out Era on the Storm Spirit, see if they notice that he has Lincolns. He will get away, and that Lincolns is going to absorb the stun. And all the heroes of Fnatic going to get out with no kills being traded there, so another just kind of wasted time from Rox.
Double damage.
Looks like a gank coming out in this top lane on the Nature's Prophet once again. Fly here as well. Gonna use his ultimate. Seems like a waste because he's definitely gonna go down anyways. Just making sure he puts that on cooldown before he dies. No-Tail gonna force stab himself onto a cliff, then teleport out. So Bane's gonna have his cooldown on ultimate for the next 90 seconds. His respawn's only like 35. So there will be about a minute after he's respawned where he won't be able to use his ultimate, just so that he can not die as quickly, so he doesn't respawn as fast. And that makes Rox have an even easier time to try and push this tier 3. In the meantime, Fnatic is going to be able to get this tier 2 in the bottom lane. And we'll see if they try and pressure the tier 3. It looks like Hani is going to port back.
Let the fun begin.
And we see that Yule Staff working wonders for Hani there. Dodging the unstable concoction coming out from Alchemist. Venomancer taking a bunch of damage from this impetus from Enchantress, and it looks like Nyx might go down. Does in fact go down, pops his Aegis. Fly taking a lot of damage here, and just gonna get away it looks like. Enchantress stealing the creeps of Chen, gonna use the Ursa, or Hellbear now, to stomp and do a little bit of damage. Meantime, Rox continue to try and pressure this tier 3 tower, and it looks like they're just gonna be forced back. And so no kills even traded there. They do lose the Aegis on the Lifestealer and do pretty good damage to the tower, but no kills really going to go either way. No one able to finish the job. Not a lot of range damage coming out from rox.KIS, so once the heroes start walking away from them, if they get kited a little bit, held out, probably like the tree spawn from Nature's Prophet, and then the treants made after that, they're kind of blocked out of the fight, and heroes from Fnatic were able to walk away with just no health. And now Rox forced back. So Fnatic now grouping up as 4 in this bottom lane. We have Hani in the top lane. He still has his Boots of Travel up, so Fnatic try and go for the Rax here. He will be able to port to the bottom lane and lend his support since he does have those Boots of Travel picked up. No, missed the kill. Hani goes down in this top lane. Thought he'd be able to get away, but he does overstay his welcome a little bit. Gets caught out by the Alchemist and the Nyx, continuing to utilize their little combo there. Fly checking for a ward in the middle of the Radiant jungle. There's nothing there. So Fnatic going to be content to just farm the Radiant jungle, it looks like, for the moment. Era up to 2,600 gold. And probably going for Sheepstick next, I would imagine. He doesn't have anything picked up yet. It's also possible he could go for like a BKB if he wanted, just to try and evade some of the dots that come out from Venomancer, maybe the stuns from the Alchemist. And a lot of big fight going on here now. The tier 3 tower already down. Fiend's Griff gonna come out on Buzz. Let's see if they can take out the Nyx. They do not get him down in time. Era taking a lot of damage, gonna go down. Nyx taking a bunch of damage as well from these impetus from Enchantress, very low on health, and Storm Spirit rebuys, gonna port in, or blink in with his Ball Lightning, get that kill. Triple kill though, going the way of Darkseer with that wall. Gonna get Yules'd up now, taking a lot of damage on the side of Rox. And Era now gonna get this kill on the Chen. Hani still alive, dealing a stun to Venomancer, trying to deal as much damage as possible. And Darkseer tries to surge away, gets stunned by Era. Era though gonna go down before Darkseer dies. Hani does get that kill, however. No-Tail taking a lot of damage, pretty low on health, and it looks like Starladder will be able to get that kill. Venomancer actually getting that last hit. Enchantress immediately buys back, so a ton of buybacks used. No-Tail buys back, immediately gets slowed by the Gale from Venomancer. Venomancer will go down, but so will Nailtail on the rebuy. Nightmare coming out from Bane, gonna sleep the Alchemist, trying to buy time for Hani to get something up. Has his stun off cooldown, unfortunately the Lifestealer is back. And Hani gonna go down. In the meantime, the melee racks have gone down in the middle of this fight. And it looks like Fly gonna go down as well. Hani and Trixie, the only ones alive. Where's Trixie at? Looks like he wants to port somewhere. Gonna port into this bottom. Maybe try and get this pick off on the Darkseer. Doesn't manage to get it, but he's gonna go down from the Nyx, it looks like. Nyx low on health, does end up getting killed. Gale misses from the Venomancer on Hani. Hani's gonna chase him down now. No one around at all to try and save this Venomancer. Hani getting blocked by his own creep wave. It looks like he's gonna just have to give up that chase. Maybe concern some other heroes are around, but pretty much everyone in the game buying back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 buybacks over the course of that fight. However, rox able to get those melee racks through the end of it. Alchemist and Chen, the only 2 heroes that still have buyback. Bane didn't use his, but doesn't have the money for it. Nature's Prophet buying back. It looks like they're going to try and just push this middle lane as fast as they possibly can. Try and create that creep equilibrium. However, all the heroes from rox are definitely going to be up before they even get to the tier 3 tower, because this tier 2 is still up in the middle lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So that tier 2 gonna go down, and Fnatic just gonna back off. I think this is the right call here. With all of rox's team gonna be up, Lifestealer will be up in about 5 seconds. They wouldn't be able to take the tier 3 in time. And then they're gonna get into a delay, pretty long fight, possibly again, without buybacks on any of their core heroes this time. On the opposite side of the map, they really didn't win the fight in their base with the buybacks. Kinda went even, and they did lose melee racks. So Fnatic definitely feeling like they're on the back foot at the moment. Experience now heading up to about 7,500 in favor of rox. Gold pretty close to even, about 1,500. Also in favor of rox. And Fnatic now content to just go back to farming, try and get something big on any of their heroes. But with all those buybacks, nobody really has any gold to go for anything. And Storm Spirit picks up a Perseverance, so we might be seeing him go for a Bloodstone, which is pretty surprising for him to try and go for it 40 minutes into the game. The other items that Perseverance go into, Battle Fury and Refresher Orb, both seem really bad on Storm Spirit, so I wouldn't imagine it's going to be those, or a second Linked Sphere. If I'm forgetting some item that Perseverance goes into, feel free to let me know in chat. But he does have a second Perseverance now picked up here. We'll see if he ends up trying to get a Bloodstone. Ultimate Orb picked up on Hani on the next assassin now. Roshan gonna go down to rox. It looks like Fnatic don't even know what's going on again. We'll see if Era tries to steal it. Fnatic might have an idea for this time. Could get in there and get that cheese. Doesn't actually get it. Shiva's thrown out by the Darkseer, just to slow anyone who might be trying to come around this cliff to get around them and force a team fight. So I didn't see who picked up the cheese. I imagine it's Alchemist. It's not Alchemist. It might be Darkseer then? Nope. Well, it's apparently on Chen. So we're going to have Chen. And they're going to stun coming out from Starladder on Hani. However, Trixie going to try and gank the Alchemist. Doesn't remember that Nyx has been in Alchemist the entire game. Gets killed immediately. Starladder going to go for the stun here, it looks like. Might stun himself, and does in fact stun himself. Gets picked off right away by the Storm Spirit. However, Buzz is perfect. So strong right now with that Abyssal Blade, getting kills, has a triple kill now. Era being forced away, ports out, and gonna get out, but now all of the heroes from rox are in this top lane, and they're set up to push this tier 2. With a lot of heroes and the creep equilibrium approaching this tier 2 tower, no buybacks really on any of the heroes from Fnatic, who are dead. The only hero on their team with buyback is Storm Spirit, and he survived. Pretty difficult to kill.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Looks like the middle range racks taking a bit of damage here, and they're just going to rotate and try and take this tier 3 in the bottom lane. Looks like Venomancer might go down here from the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit does back out. Venomancer gets his ultimate off right before he dies. So it's going to do pretty good damage. Hani taken out immediately. by the damage coming out from this Lifestealer in the late game, and they're going to be forced to use Glyph, but not until they lose this tier 3 in the bottom lane. Well, Fnatic have to try something here. The melee Rex is going down very quickly. They still have Aegis and Cheese on Lifestealer, so they're going to have to effectively kill him 3 times.
Looking for me?
Trixie taking a bunch of damage. Yol gonna go down in the chin, it looks like. Does Ghost Scepter, gonna be able to walk away for the moment. Era chasing him down. And Lifestealer gonna infest, doesn't even die. Dodges some nukes. Looks like he's gonna go down. Uses the cheese. Try and survive in this fight. And looks like No Tail gonna go down as well. Fiend's Grip coming out from Fly. On Buzz is perfect, the Lifestealer. However, he's not going to be able to kill him in time. There's not a lot of damage coming out without the Storm Spirit there. And finally going to take down the Lifestealer for his second life, using the cheese and the Aegis at this point. However, all of Fnatic's team going down. Buyback now from Trixie. Manages to get enough gold before finally dying, so he can buy back, but this melee Rex are continuing to take damage, and they're going to go down. So that's 2 lanes lost by Fnatic now. Lifestealer taking a lot of damage, getting kited, and he's probably going to go down here, but the damage is done, 2 lanes down. Lifestealer buys back. Now Fnatic kind of showing off maybe what they were trying to do the whole game with this lineup. Just kite the Lifestealer out. Storm Spirit's really good at that with the Orchid. Because he can't rage and Storm Spirit can continue just throwing his, proccing his passive, getting the slow attacks, and Lifestealer can't really get close to anybody with all these ranged heroes on the side of Fnatic. However, with the Alchemist pick, really has just worked wonders for Rox. He's been able to buy the Blink Dagger, the Shadow Blade, that can get the Lifestealer into those fights. Looks like a gank now coming out on Yol from Hani, and gonna just run away. Trixie even ported in here on the Nature's Prophet, like they really wanted to go on it, and they just kind of give up. Hani uses his ultimate and some nukes, deals some damage, but Chen gonna be fine. Meanwhile, the core heroes from Rox in this top lane now. Looks like they want to go on this tier 2 tower. Darkseer's still pretty far away. Still has buyback. Bloodstone finished on Storm Spirit now. I guess getting it for the respawn time, which is pretty okay, but you're gonna feel like it would have been a lot more useful with how passive his team was playing early on. If he had just gotten this early and then tried to get some ganks for some charges. Makes up to 1900 gold. Doesn't really have anything bought.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And Rock's going to take this tier 2 completely uncontested. Fnatic, like, standing nearby. Looked like they were thinking about going on it and eventually just back off. Stun coming out on No Tail from the Alchemist. Looks like they're not going to chase. We'll see if Rox try and force this last tier 3 or just kind of wait around until Roche respawns. Still got about 5 minutes left. $2,800 gold up on the Nakes. See what he ends up going for next. There are a lot of items he can choose to try and grab here. I would kind of expect him to just go for the heart. Try and get tanky. Try and not die in these fights. Stay alive as long as possible. However, he's already pretty survivable as it is. As long as his teammates stay alive and he's not able to just be completely kited, he can do a lot of damage in these fights. Venomancer hanging out in the middle lane. He's got his Ghost Scepter done. Nothing else really picked up on him. Chen actually getting an ultimate and 2200 gold. If he's going for a sheep stake of his own, he's not too far off on the support Chen. The game is just lasting long enough for that to kind of be an idea. Mask of Madness picked up on No Tail's Enchantress. And Fnatic walking around is 5. No, if they get picked off, it's probably going to be the end of the game for them. No one on their team has buyback. The only one in the game with buyback is in fact the Darkseer at the moment. Let's see if they manage to spot out this Darkseer. Hani running in, doesn't get quite into range of him. Might find Yol. do in fact catch the Chen, and he's going to go down before he can do anything, so kill quickly going the way of Era there. Chen just not in a good position. They don't have the sight they need to just be hanging out in the dire jungle with the support heroes. And Fnatic now continuing to just wander around together. Does Trixie have anything else up yet? He looks like he's almost got a Desolator of his own picked up. Gotta mention it's kind of late in the game for the Desolator to really be showing its complete effect. The armor debuff is nice. I guess most of the heroes on Rox don't have a great amount of armor. Nake's infested in the Alchemist again. By this point in the game, it's probably likely that they would be getting more damage out of him just grabbing a Desolator. Armors are high enough at this point that the armor you're reducing from that isn't going to be terrible, or just like terrible for Rox's lineup. Once you're getting up to like 27 armor, you remove 6, it's only a few percent of physical damage resistance. The difference with because armor has diminishing returns. Rox hanging out in the dire jungle, continuing to just farm. A lot of buybacks coming up on both sides. How long do we have on Roshan? About a minute and a half. Pretty much imagine that's what they're waiting for. It's certainly possible that Nature's Prophet is planning on backdooring with the Nyx Assassin, but for that to really work, they have to not be down 2 lanes and the enemy team on the 3rd lane's doorstep. So all of Rox's team continuing to stand here, waiting to go in. Looks like Starladder is ready. Gonna try and go for it. Gonna stun himself maybe. No, blinks in, gets the stun on No-Tail. No-Tail gonna go down immediately. 2Buzz taking a lot of damage. In the meantime, though, Fly gonna get taken out as well. Double kill going the way of Nyx. They're gonna take out this tier 3 tower, it looks like, while the supports from Rox are just trying to keep Fnatic back. Hand of God comes out, but not until Venomancer already dies. Starladder getting that stun off on Trixie. Trixie gonna go down here from the super creeps. And Hani now forced to Yules himself up after the open wounds from Nyx. And with that, looks like Nyx is going to be able to take these last barracks. Fnatic going to call GG, and it's going to go the way of Rox.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. The Radiant now have mega creeps.
And Storm Spirit just not able to hold the game out, even with the reduced respawn time that I'm apparently an idiot for not remembering and considering. I still think a Sheepstick would have been better here.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Being able to just remove magic armor and try and burst down the Nyx, someone getting a Sheepstick feels like it would have been better than maybe a reduced respawn time. But Rox gonna take this game, their first appearance in Starladder Starseries Season 5. Once again, my name is KIS. I'm going to be casting the Starladder Starseries Season 5 games for you, at least for the next few days. We'll see how long it goes for that. People like it, maybe I'll continue. If everyone hates me, which the chat is definitely making clear today, we'll see. But here's a scoreboard for you guys. I'll be right back, gonna get a quick drink, and then we'll be in for the Na'Vi versus Power Rangers game. Stay tuned.